Hi viewers, welcome to another edition of Marital Clinic Live. Today I remain your host, Marital Han. Thank you so much for joining me today on this edition of Marital Clinic Live. How are you today? If you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please kindly click on the subscribe button. We promise to bring you more interesting, exciting teachings and episodes. Please do join us, do follow us on our Facebook group page as well for those engaging conversation. Please try and follow us on these conversations because somehow you're going to learn a lot. So today I'm going to be looking at virtues that promote marital stability and success. Virtues that promote marital stability and success. So what are virtues? So virtues are like high moral standard that people exhibit in life. Virtues are high moral standard that people are known for. Like someone is known for honesty, for integrity, for dedication, for hard work. So those are virtues. We see all these things being exhibited in our places of work, in even in our day-to-day activity, in marriages as well. For example, in your office, you will find out that there are people who are committed to the work. They are committed doing the work. They don't just do eye service. They are not the type that do work just when they see the boss around. They are committed to the work. Whether the boss is there or not, they do the work. They are result oriented. They believe so much in delivering results. They don't believe in giving excuses. Rather, they get the work done. So we have people like that have such virtues at their place of work. So now we are talking about marriage. We also have virtues that people should exhibit in life. We know those virtues such as honesty. We need this in society. We need this in our day-to-day life, such as integrity. Do you keep to your words? Do you try as much as possible to keep to your words, or you are the type that you just talk but you don't make effort to keep to what you say? So those are also virtues that help us in our everyday today life. So today I would like to talk about the virtues that we need as married couples in our marriages to promote marital stability and success. If you want marital stability and marital success, then you need to exhibit these virtues. You need to inculcate them. You need to develop them over time into your life. No one is born with these virtues. These virtues can be developed, and I'm going to be talking about these virtues that can help to promote marital stability, marital success, and we need these virtues every day in our marriages. And one of them is commitment. Are you committed to your marriage? Are you committed to that union, to that home, to that marriage? Are you committed? How committed are you to your spouse? How committed are you to your children? How committed are you to your home? You need to ask yourself that question. If we ask your wife today or your husband today that if you are to rate your wife in commitment or your husband in commitment, what would you rate them? Some wives will say, I'm going to rate him 0. Some will say, I'll rate him 10. Some will say, I'm going to rate him 50. Some will say, if I'm to rate him in commitment, I think I'm going to score him 90% or 100%. Are you that kind of spouse? Same for the men. We ask your husband how committed you are as the wife of the home. Are you the type that needs to be pushed and pushed and pushed before you play your part, before you do your share of the work, before you play your own role? Are you naturally committed to anything you do, including to your marriage? How strong is that commitment? We also need to ask you that. So you need to cultivate your virtue of commitment. You need to be committed to anything you are doing. because it's going to pay in the long run when you are committed to whatsoever you do. Now, another virtue that promotes marital stability and marital success is forgiveness. Forgiveness is very vital. These days that people leave marriages for different reasons, for even mundane things. These days that you see people leave marriage for just flimsy reasons, some excuses or some reasons that you'll be wondering, but that is not strong enough for you to walk out of your marriage, or for you to break your home and all of that. But you will find out that to them, to you, it may not matter. To you, you may think it's something little, but to them, it's something big. So, and I'm not talking about things that are deal breakers or things that could take life, reasons that could take life or could cut someone's life short. I'm talking about just some flimsy, reasons why people walk out of their marriages these days. And we find that happening a lot, especially with this younger generation. So without forgiveness, your marriage will not experience stability, because forgiveness is key. Because we are human, we will offend ourselves, we will offend each other once in a while, but you must not make it an habit to be offending your spouse. Now, because we are human, once in a while, we will cross each other's path. You may do things that he doesn't like, or he may do things that you don't like. He may even do things that breaks your heart. But the question you want to ask yourself is this offense pardonable? Is it forgivable? Check his motive, check her motive. What was her motive for doing this? What was his motive for doing this? Did he do this deliberately? So when you ask yourself all these questions, it will help you to forgive. And I tell you, many of the offenses are forgivable. They are pardonable. The only time when you think, oh, this thing, I don't think I want to continue to forgive, even though you still have to forgive, is if you feel that they are beginning to take you for granted, and that they are not changing, and they are hurting you, and it's affecting your life, it's affecting your health. Then you may want to reconsider some other option or strategy that you want to use to cope with such a person. But if they are not the type that deliberately hurt you, that do things to sink you, or that do things to destroy you, if it's just the normal husband and wife quarrel, husband and wife fight, once in a while things happen, and it's like, oh, this hurts me so badly. But if you can forgive, please go ahead and forgive, because that forgiveness gives marital stability. If you don't forgive, then you are going to be experiencing a lot of ups and downs. But when you forgive and you try as much as possible to heal from those hurts, I tell you, over time you will experience marital stability. And that spouse that keeps going astray, or that keeps erring, that keeps hurting you, may come to a self-realization that what they are doing is bad, and they may turn a new leaf. So it's important that we forgive if you want to experience marital stability or marital success. Another one is being compassionate. Another virtue we want to look at is being compassionate in our marriages. It is very important that we are compassionate. Be kind, be compassionate. These days I wonder if husband is compassionate towards wife, if wife is compassionate towards husband. A husband that leaves the wife to do everything, and I mean everything, shows that leaves everything to the woman to do, is not a compassionate husband. Because if you are compassionate, if you have compassion in your heart for your wife, you will not be looking at her doing all the chores alone, doing all the work alone. You will not be looking at her being burdened. You will not be looking at her being stressed. My husband doesn't like to see me being stressed. As a matter of fact, at times I may just be doing my own thing, doing my work, and he will be the one to even notice that I'm stressed, and he will say, I think you need to slow down, I think you need to take some rest. Okay, don't worry, I will help you do that while you go do other things, or while you go take some rest. That is an example of a compassionate husband. Same thing for a wife. Are you compassionate towards your husband? The husband that has gone out since morning to work to fend for the home. Are you so compassionate towards him that before he comes back, he will have a meal to eat when he comes back? Are you compassionate on him to the point that the monies he even give to you as upkeep or food money, that you are prudent with it, that you don't waste his resources, that you respect his sweat, that you respect, that you don't waste his resources, that you respect his sweat, that you respect, his labor of love for the home? How compassionate are you towards your husband, and how compassionate are you towards your wife? This virtue is very important in achieving marital stability. If you are not a compassionate person, I tell you, you are next to being dead, because it's dead people that cannot feel the pain of others, that cannot feel the pains of others, what others are going through. And if you can feel the pain of your spouse, then you will be willing to give a helping hand, just to reduce their workload. Another virtue that I would like to talk about is that of respect and humility. Respect and humility. It is very important that as married couples that you respect each other. It's very important that we respect each other. Respect, like people always say, is reciprocal. Be deliberate about it, be intentional about it. Don't be disrespectful to your spouse. Try to respect each other, respect the other person's point of view, respect their feelings, respect their sweat, respect them. Respect your husband being the head. The husband should respect the wife as well, being a weaker vessel. Just make sure you deal with each other with respect, and with respect comes humility. Be humble. Don't be the type that you are proud towards your spouse, or you have this competitive behavior or competitive attitude towards each other. You are not meant to be competing with each other, but to complement each other. We are meant to complement each other's effort, and not that we should be competing with each other as husband and wife. So that virtue of respect and humility is very, very important for marital stability and success. Men especially, they love respect. Same with women. Just make sure you respect each other. That is very important. Another one I'm going to talk about is communication. Communication is a virtue. Your ability to communicate what you have in mind, what you are thinking, your thoughts, your perception, even your feelings, rather than putting up an attitude of resentment, rather than using body language to speak to your partner, you want to learn how to communicate, how to say, oh, this is what I feel, this is what I think, this is what I don't like, this is what is paining me, this is what I'm frowning at, this is what I'm feeling dissatisfied about. Because your spouse is not a spirit, they are human being, and they don't know what is in your heart, or what is in your mind, or what is bothering you, what you are thinking about. They need you to speak out. They need you to talk, to communicate to them, for them to know what you are thinking, what is going on your mind, what you are going through. And without that communication, there is no way they are going to know what you are going through. So rather than taking to some attitude or some behavior such as malice or fighting or other things, why not just communicate? Why not talk about it? So these are virtues that will help to promote marital stability. When you communicate, you will realize that they would know what you have in your mind, or they will know what you are going through, and before you know it, both of you will be able to talk about it and you will be able to resolve it. So another thing is provider. This is very important. There is no marital stability if there is provision lacking in the home. You must be a provider, both as the man and as the woman. We know that the man is supposed to provide, but the woman too should help, to fill in the gap at times where the man is not meeting up. Where you notice it's being inadequate, you as well, you can step in. There is no home that can survive without provision. There has to be constant provision, and the man has to provide. The woman too must not just sit down idle, not doing anything. You must equally do something to him. You must equally do something to provide little things for the home as well, so that you don't wait for the man to provide everything. Provision, that being a provider, is a virtue that we must have as married people, because if you lack provision in your home, if you lack provision in your marriage, I tell you, there won't be stability in that marriage. Today you can't pay rent, tomorrow you can pay rent, next tomorrow you have food, you don't have money for food. So you will be going through a lot of ups and downs, but once there is provision, you will be able to sail through smoothly. And that is why we must develop that virtue of being a provider, both as men and women. Don't be the type that cannot provide anything for your home or even for your children. Don't wait for one party to provide everything. Both of you should always complement each other. Play your own role, do your own share of the work. And before we know it, you realize that there will be abundance in your home and you will not lack any good thing. Lastly, I'm going to talk about being prudent. Being prudent with your resources, because prudence is a virtue that we need to also develop as married couples. Considering the fact that all over the world things are becoming more expensive, then we need to learn prudence. We need to learn how to manage these limited resources. Ensure that you are not the wasteful type as a man or as a woman. Be deliberate about how you spend the little that you earn, how you spend your income. Don't be wasteful in your spending. Make sure you only spend on things that you need and not just spending unnecessarily. Make sure you are prudent too as a wife. When your husband gives you some funds for the running of the home, how prudent are you with it? Or you just go to town wasting it, and the purpose for which they asked you to use it for, you did not use it for that. You diverted it to other purposes. If you are that type of wife or even that type of husband, you realize that there will be a lot of clashes in the home. There will be so much fight, so much unrest. Why? Because your spouse will not be happy that you are diverting the funds that they are giving to you into other things when you should be using it to run the home. So being prudent is a vital virtue that we need to develop as husband and wife. So I would like to stop here today. Please note that these virtues, they are not these virtues are things you and I can develop. No one was born into this world with this virtue. None of us came with it. We all have to develop it. We all have to develop it. So don't forget, forgiveness is one of those virtues. You have to be forgiving. Being compassionate, you have to be compassionate towards your wife, towards your husband. It is very important. Kindness as well. You have to be kind to them. Being respectful, that is important. Communication is also one of it. You have to communicate what you have in mind. That is the virtue that we all must develop as married couples for us to achieve marital stability and marital success. And I also talked about being prudent. I also talk about being prudent, and I also talk about being prudent, and I talked about commitment. Commitment is also very important. Without commitment, I tell you, nothing will last. But when you are committed to it, you realize that it will last for a lifetime. And this is what we pray for our marriages. I would like to stop here now. I hope we have learned a lot. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a like, give us a comment. We would like to hear your view on this. So I would like to stop here now. I remain your host, Marital. Over to you until we meet again. I say bye bye.
Marriage Clinic TV.